He's one. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer.
When Floyd Mayweather stepped into Terence Crawford's private camp just months ahead of the Canelo fight, no one knew what to expect. Was it a photo op or a flex? It turned out to be a masterclass.
I'm gonna tell you why I like Eddie. So one day, somebody, because you know I don't have social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, Floyd Mayweather ain't got no money. That's why he doing exhibitions. No, Eddie don't believe that now. Yeah.
Well, Eddie will say some shit like that.
Yeah, Eddie will say some shit. But no, one thing. Don't worry about that. But me and Eddie got it clear. Didn't we, Eddie? Yeah. One thing. Me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less. Can't be less than 10. Because then we're struggling for money.
I had to show Eddie some of that count. Eddie, hold on.
Imagine how much money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Two hungry fuckers for...
Floyd didn't just watch. He trained with Bud for hours behind closed doors. No cameras, no crew, just elite-level boxing IQ in motion. And now, Floyd's first words about the session are out. They weren't just praise. They were warnings, blueprints, and subtle digs at Canelo.
Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it, I mean, because, and I told people to say, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd, it's not that he trains, I mean, it's his life. And from the very beginning, he's like, I want to be the best.
This ain't just another collab. It could be the biggest tactical shift in boxing since 2013. At first, it looked like one of Floyd's petty chess moves. He falls out with someone, then that person's courtside, vibing in the gym and posing for pics. It happened with Ryan Garcia, it happened with Frank Martin, and when Bud publicly clashed with Javant on social media, Floyd immediately swooped in playing Big Bro.
When people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a fuck. If everybody in the crew win, I mean, win. Fuck.
You're a proud father.
They were seen hanging out at the Mayweather Boxing Club, cracking jokes, even hitting light pads together. Everyone assumed it was just Floyd being Floyd, befriending his protégé rivals for the headlines.
For the Canelo, they're slated to fight in September.
It's going to be an interesting fight. Honestly, it's kind of 50-50 in my opinion. Obviously, Canelo's got the weight and natural size advantage, but Bud's very technically skilled and sharp. Yeah. So it's going to be a good fight.
But what no one saw coming, Floyd wasn't just there for the vibes. He's the one calling the shots in Bud's Canelo camp. Strategy, timing, counters, you name it, he's leading the charge. According to Stephen "Breadman" Edwards, Floyd didn't just pull up, he trained with Bud for 2 straight hours. No interviews, no press, just footwork, ring IQ, and pure brilliance. And it wasn't a one-off visit. Sources say Floyd has been quietly involved in Bud's entire Canelo strategy behind the scenes for weeks.
Always accurate. Always accurate. Don't waste time. No waste no punch. Wait, no, not one. Hell no. Get back quick. This ain't number bad, bro. This ain't number, no, hell no. This ain't number bad. What kind of, no, hell no, you ain't with that. You doing that shit like that, yeah.
Don't hold it, dog.
You got me on camera?
Ain't no hold.
How cute I'm looking, baby? Am I looking real cute?
Ain't no
Hell
hold.
no, you gonna hit me with that shit. You know what I'm me.
And when Floyd finally broke his silence after the session, his words weren't humble or safe. They were a full-blown warning to Canelo Alvarez. Floyd said, "Crawford reminds me of a younger me, but with more patience. I told him straight, Canelo's strong, but he's flat-footed. If you stay sharp, you break him down." That wasn't just advice. It was Floyd pulling back the curtain on his blueprint. You could hear it in his tone. This wasn't hype. It was a calculated chess player mapping out the endgame.
Yes, sir, Hearn.
Which one for the office?
Which one? Which one?
Sorry, in the middle.
So I may do another exhibition this year.
Which one?
Here's what's even more interesting, he added. When I fought Canelo, he was younger. Now he's got more muscle but less movement. Bud's timing can make him look like he's stuck in mud. That wasn't a critique. It was a warning shot. Mayweather didn't just compliment Crawford. He made it clear he sees Canelo's blueprint crumbling under the same pressure Floyd applied back in 2013.
Hey Floyd, what do you think about the fight, Crawford Madrigal? He says it's gonna be a good fight. You think the winner should get Canelo?
Sir.
This ain't about them right now.
See, here's where things get real interesting. Floyd didn't just randomly show up to Bud's camp for the vibes. He's got unfinished business with Canelo. Flashback to 2013. Canelo was the young, hungry lion, undefeated, hyped as boxing's next big thing. But Floyd was still Money Mayweather, cold, calculated, a masterclass technician.
They just announced Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. You like it?
I like it.
Who do you like?
I think both are good fighters, but I think David Haney right now is a flavor.
Devin, yeah. How did Lomachenko look in his last fight? Did he look good? You didn't catch it? Yeah. You like Devin? A lot of good skills. Some people say that he's comparable to Floyd Mayweather. What do you think? Nobody?
And when they stepped into the ring that September night in Vegas, Floyd took him to school, literally. It was boxing 101. He neutralized Canelo's power, made him miss all night, and dominated on the scorecards. One judge had the audacity to call it a draw, but everyone knew who really ran that ring.
It's really that they don't want. It's not that they don't want to see Tank win because they feel like it's beating me because I dominated the fight game for so long. But these same writers out here, they praise Canelo. He can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Motherfucker easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy.
Ever since, that loss has haunted Canelo, and for Floyd, he's worn it like a crown. Now fast forward to 2025, and Floyd's back in the mix, not to fight Canelo himself, but to do the next best thing. Train the guy who might finally end Canelo's run at the top.
Mayweather, what, you were 23 years old, I believe?
23.
And
just
again,
turned 23.
Yeah, you just turned 23. You didn't have a lot of seasoning. I know people will say, oh, he had a lot of fights. Well, you didn't have an amateur career. You started boxing at 15 as a pro, right?
Yeah.
So you gave up the weight concession. You gave up the rehydration clause. And I always thought if you would have faced him, with some more seasoning, it would have gone differently.
He deserved the position in that moment because, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best fighters in the boxing history, and he deserved the position in that moment. I try to make history, and I try to put myself in the very top in that moment. But for some reason, doesn't happen, right? And yeah, like you say, if I had that fight with Miguel Angel Cotto first and all these kind of fights, and then fight Mayweather, maybe go in the different way. But we never gonna know. And I learned what from that fight, and like I say, things happen for a reason.
And let's be clear, Floyd knows Canelo inside and out. His habits, his tells, his stamina dips, everything. And he's not gatekeeping any of it. He's unloading all that intel straight into Bud's game plan. It's like watching a general hand over his war map to the new king. Now, let's not act like this came out of nowhere. Bud's been calling for that Canelo smoke ever since he demolished Errol Spence Jr. Bud didn't just win. He broke Spence, switched stances mid-fight, dropped him multiple times, and walked out undisputed. That's not just a win, that's legacy. But for Crawford, it still wasn't enough.
Hey, I want Canelo. Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Masvidal.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
He's been chasing Canelo ever since, popping off in interviews, calling him out on IG Lives, dropping subtle jabs in press conferences. He wants that name on his resume bad, because he knows beating Canelo is the cherry on top of a Hall of Fame career.
Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan.
He's not in the plan. Okay. Is there a specific reason for it? Is it because of his size, or it won't do anything for you in terms of pushing you toward your goals?
You know, like I say, it makes sense maybe. I don't know right now. I just wanna enjoy this fight, and please let me enjoy this fight. And then you gonna know what is next for sure.
But here's the twist. Canelo's been curving it.
Bud Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 weights class less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we'll see.
Not ducking in a scared way, more like strategic silence. Not because he thinks Bud can beat him, but because of a concern far more valid, the weight difference.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so I guess we could see it next.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the ring, the weight difference. Because this isn't just a regular fight. It's physics, genetics, and legacy all clashing under the lights.
I'm saying at once. Right. I'm saying I started at 135. I'm just saying, like, say if Canelo was the champion at 147 to go up 160.
Right in one jump.
Yeah, in one jump.
It's a big jump too. 21 pounds. It's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight.
Terence is a damn technician, a master switch hitter who's already conquered multiple weight classes.
It is my biggest concern when it comes to Terence Bud Crawford, when people, for some reason, keep mistakenly comparing him to Floyd Mayweather when it comes to being an elusive fighter. Terence Crawford and Boots Ennis has a similar approach to boxing. They are boxer punchers, and it's because Terence Crawford was too big and too strong for most of the opponents. He was too athletic, too. Foot speed, hand speed, just too accurate. Physically, probably the best athlete in the boxing world. He does the same thing, which is why he's been dropped, which is why he's been rocked, which is why he gets hit a lot with consecutive punches. You saw him get Madrigal, you saw him get David Hanese. You saw the type of punches he was getting landed on from Showtime Sean Porter, right? Because he's used to bullying cats. And that's what I'm concerned about with him versus Canelo Alvarez.
But here's the catch. Bud made his name at 140 and 147 pounds. In 2024, he dipped his toes into 154. But Canelo, man's been living at 168 and beyond like it's his backyard. We're talking about a guy who's held belts at light heavyweight, who's comfortable brawling with bigger dudes, and still putting them down.
Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah.
Now for this super fight, they've agreed to scrap at 168 pounds. That's Canelo's domain. Bud's coming up 2, maybe even 3 weight classes depending on how you count it, and that's no small jump. This isn't just about eating more steak and bulking up in the gym. It's about maintaining speed, explosiveness, and endurance while packing on functional mass.
I have to ask about Terence Crawford. Do you think it'll add to your legacy, that fight with Crawford?
Yeah, he's a really good fighter. 2 times undisputed champion. He accomplished so much, so can add a lot to my career.
Canelo's built for this weight. He knows how to carry that power. His neck's like a damn tree trunk, and he absorbs punches like they're love taps. For Bud, this is uncharted territory. But here's where it gets real. Speaking to Cigar Talk, Bud made it crystal clear. There's no catchweight trickery, no rehydration clause, nothing sneaky. He said, I'm really coming up 3 weight classes in all reality. It's mano a mano. I make weight on Friday, we fight on Saturday. No excuses, no built-in advantages, just raw, pure smoke. So yeah, Canelo's got the natural size. He's been living at 168, marinating in that power. But Bud, he's got the speed, the IQ, the angles. The weight difference makes this risky for Crawford, sure, but it also makes the win that much sweeter if he pulls it off. Imagine the headlines. Bud beats bigger Canelo with brains and skill. It's David versus Goliath, but with elite footwork and vicious body shots. Now here's where it gets spicy. The fight world is split like a bad decision in Vegas. Half the internet screaming, Canelo easy, like it's already a done deal. And honestly, it's not hard to see why.
You've been in there with Crawford? Yeah. So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been in there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience. You got Crawford, got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168. And it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Canelo's got the size, the experience, the resume. He's faced killers like GGG, Bivol, Kovalev. And even though he took a couple L's, the dude's a tank. People look at him and say, no way Crawford's power carries up, he's too small. Canelo's just going to walk him down.
Terence Crawford, Canelo.
Yeah, I believe Terence Crawford is going to be in top shape, and I believe he's good enough to outpoint Canelo. But I believe the power would be a challenge, if you will. So I'm going to say Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford?
Because I think Terence Crawford is the best boxer.
But the other half, the Bud believers, they're riding hard. They've seen how Terence eats elite fighters alive. They watched him dismantle Errol Spence like it was just another sparring session. His timing, his composure, his footwork, it's art. And the way he's training for this fight? Locked in. Laser focused. Like he's got legacy tunnel vision. Floyd's coaching him. He's studying film like a straight-up nerd. Fans are saying, if anyone can outthink and outslick Canelo, it's Bud.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump. A dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me
that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can.
So here we are, 2 kings, 2 legacies, 1 ring. On one side, Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican monster, the bigger man, the proven warrior at 168. On the other, Terence "Bud" Crawford, the precision genius, the pound-for-pound puzzle no one solved yet. And now, he's backed by none other than Floyd Mayweather himself.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, bud. Keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. I always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll beat it.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd. Nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of.
This isn't just another super fight. This is history in the making. Legacy on the line. And with Mayweather whispering secrets from 2013 into Bud's ear, yeah, this might just be the most dangerous version of Crawford we've ever seen. But now it's your turn. Who you got? Drop your predictions in the comments. Is Canelo too strong, or is Bud really about to shock the world? Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a second of this wild ride to Fight Night.